So ArcBrush, which is a node-based image editing tool that we talked about some time ago, which you can totally use for free for those who are into game design, game development, or even graphic design, photo retouching, is now fully available. And the time we talked about this tool, this was available in open beta, but right now this tool is available as a fully standalone tool that you can use on both Windows and also Mac. And for those who like to grab this, you can simply go over to the link in the description. They'll bring you right here where you'll be able to download this for free. So if you simply click on the download for free, you'll be able to get this for both Windows and Mac, with Linux coming pretty soon. And I gotta tell you that if you work with nodes, or if you're thinking about working procedurally when image editing or variations of textures or edits, with this tool, you can procedurally do stuff quickly. And of course, this tool is currently available for both game artists, pixel artists, illustrators, concept artists, texture artists, and also designers. So if this is something that you want, then you can simply come through and grab this totally for free. And of course, if you simply download this and fire it up, this is basically what you get. How you work with this is very easy. So think about it like your node-based editor, which makes a lot of sense because you can now procedurally do stuff. So the first example we're going to do is with a simple image. So once you drag and drop an image in here, you can start doing things. Literally most of the things, or if not every single thing that you can do in Photoshop, you can now do here. So for example, if you're thinking about cropping an image, all you need to do is to dial in, a node for that. So we're doing a crop image right here. And this is also going to give you some gizmos which you can use to crop stuff. So you can use this to just simply crop it if you want. We can go back to the previous one and we can come back here, which is making it super non-destructive. What about if you want to do some color balance, some hue shift, all that stuff? You do have all of your color stuff right here, and you can simply drag in the HSB, connect that right here. And from here, you can now start making that hue shift and change things how you want. Maybe you like to add a little bit of vignette into this. You can go ahead, drag this all the way out, type in the word vignette, and you have your vignette stuff here. You can increase that, reduce that, and you can go to town with it however you choose. And in some cases, you might be thinking about masking stuff. Now for the masking, there are various kinds of masking that currently exist. We can right click to get the mask by simply typing in the word mask, and we can select any of the masking that we want. So if you like to do a simple paint mask, you can. So we can go in and do a simple paint mask, connect the image. Possibly we would like to mask maybe her face or his shirt, whatever. We can go in, increase that just to get the brush size, play with the hardness to drop that down, look at the opacity if we like to make some changes to that, and from here we can start painting. And you would notice that this is pretty soft, so we can make that a little bit harder, and from here we can paint even more stuff and have that in. If you like to erase anything, you can of course go ahead and erase things. Let's use the open bracket and erase some part like so, and we're going to select that, bring that down a bit, add those parts, and erase some parts like this. And another cool thing with this is you're not just working with the mask as they are, you can also choose to invert this mask if you want. We can always refine mask as well. So we can type in the word mask refine, and with the mask refine, we can refine certain parts, maybe add a little bit of feather to that, erode this if we want, or dilate this if we choose. Now that we've gotten this, if we're looking at adding some more stuff to this, maybe a little bit of brightness, contrast, the HSB that we did earlier, or even playing with levels, we can. So I can drag out that level, connect the image to the image, and we can now throw in that mask. So once we have that, we can now go in and make changes to just that part. And if you're thinking about working with HSB, of course, you can drag that out as well, run that connection right there, and also run this connection right here. So it gives you that opportunity of exploring multiple things at the same time without actually working destructively. So it gives you that like non-destructive approach when you're working with this stuff. So we can go in and say, maybe we no longer need this, delete that, have the refine selected, increase some stuff, maybe just increase that a little bit, and feather out most of the parts, and there you go. If you would like to make some more paintings, you can of course go ahead, have that selected, and come through and make more paintings in here. And speaking about painting, if you're also thinking about doing some stamping and stuff like that, of course you can always go ahead and do it. So for this one, I'm simply just going to go ahead, create a group, and dock this by the side so we can look at a different example. So if you're looking at stamping or working with brushes and stuff like that, there is a paint. So we can go ahead and get a paint node. So everything exists within the paint node. So with the paint node, you can either paint with a brush. So let's increase that. So you can either paint with a brush, you can change the color of the brush from here. maybe you like to paint red, you can change the color of the brush from there. If you're thinking about erasing stuff, maybe you've just made a painting, there's an erase brush, which you can use to erase stuff if you want. And you also have an eyedropper if you like to select stuff. And you also have a stamping tool. So with the stamp tool, you can stamp stuff in and stamp stuff out. So say for example, we'd like to remove this white spot. Let's drop our brush size a little bit lower. We can hold down the Alt key, select any part as the source and go right there and stamp it. If it's too hard, you can drop the hardness of the brush, make it a bit softer, and you can stamp that. We can go over to a position like so, or to a place like this on that image, and we can do the same thing. Have that selected, stamp that, have this selected, stamp that, have this selected, stamp that, and you can go to town with this how you want. And again, if you're also thinking about adding multiple things on top of this for your image editing, you can literally do that. In this case, if you're thinking about throwing in a text, you can go ahead, grab in a text. We can drop this text here. Possibly we're just going to type in the word horses. Do have that. We can change the font to the Baba's New. So we have that Baba's New right there. Increase the font size, move this font wherever we want it to be. And we can now load that background and connect things together. So we can now have that there, increase a bit more. We have things right here. And in certain instances, you might want to work with shapes. So you can drag out the shape right here. You can have that selected. You can simply go over and change the shape size, change the shape itself. In this case, we're using rectangles. We would also want to generate the corners like so. And we can also choose to play with the position and also the height. So we can drop the height about that much and drop the corner about this much. And if we like to mix things together, this is where the composite node comes in. So we can drag the composite node right here, make this the base, and possibly make this the overlay. And once we do that, you'll notice that these overlays right there. Now, in certain instances, you would possibly have noticed that the size of this image and the size of this one, it's not the same. And to fix that, we need to come right here where we have our shape node, and we're simply going to turn this off. Now, once we turn it off, this controls the shape now, while this now controls the overall size of the image. So for that one, we're simply going to set our width to 3757, and we'll set our height to 5996. And with that done, we can now easily eyeball this by simply using the position to guide this where we want it to be. Or we can throw in a transform node and use that transform node to just simply transform things. And so with the transform node, we can literally just bring this down and we have it right there. So we can go back, increase the size of what we're working with, and you can see that update right here. So we can increase that. And of course, we can also increase this right here. Of course, if we like to make color changes to this, we can. So for the colors with the shape selected, you can go down and you can change the color to whatever you want. In this case, I'm just simply going to keep things simple and set that to black. Now, once we have this set to black, what we can do is this simple. We're simply going to wire this one all the way here. And then we're simply going to do another composite right here. And to this composite, what we would want is the base image to be our transform, while our overlay image would be the text. And we already know that this is about 512 by 512. So we're simply going to go ahead and make an update to that size as well. And once we do that, we can now connect this to the overlay. And that is how easy it is. So it just gives you that sort of procedural mode of working with stuff. And that's not all. You also have amazing nodes which you can use to create textures. So in this case, if you're thinking about creating textures based off, some patterns, some noise, some gradients, you can. So to any of them that you have selected, you can literally just go ahead and select the types, play with them, and generate stuff. We can also do the same thing here. In this case, we do have the checker. We can change this to stripes. We can change this, to dots. We can also change this to grid and make cool stuff out of this. Of course, if you're thinking about making changes to their shapes, even controlling how much they offset left and right, how much they scale in and out, you do have access to all of these. And you can use them in terms of creating your very own texture, which you can use across various DCC tools. And speaking about texture, if you simply drag in a texture and you like to make this texture a seamless texture, you can. So to do that, what you need to do is to simply drag in a seamless blend, and you can connect that right there, and automatically this is going to start creating that seamless blend for you. And for images like this, you can also choose to upscale them. And for the upscaling feature, there is an AI node that you can use to do that upscaling. And the AI feature that comes with this are basically 4, which allows you to either edit images, upscale images, use the AI text to image generator to generate stuff, or even use the AI tool to clean out backgrounds. And if you're working with textures and you're thinking about creating variations, you can also create variations based on selected colors or sampled colors from various images. And this is done with the palette from Image Node. So this is it for those who are thinking about exploring this amazing cool tool, which is now available totally for free, that gives you total freedom for you to edit and create stuff procedurally. Then links to this is going to be in the description, so do well to check it out. Right here, you might also see some pricing, and this pricing is more likely for those who are thinking about working with the 4 AI features that comes with this. Of course, if you don't want to work with the 4 AI features, you can literally just go ahead and work with this tool totally for free without engaging with this. So this is it. Tell me what you guys think about this one in the comment section, and until I see you guys in the next one, peace.